Hey guys, what's going on? This is the last week of the What a Time to Be Alive sermon series, and so we're going to bring you a quick life group video here to help you get started with your discussion tonight. Also, happy Thanksgiving. Hope you guys have an incredible weekend with friends and family and celebrating and eating way too much food because I know I will. This last week we talked about the importance of being willing to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, or essentially, like we talked about in the story where Jesus calms the storm, getting to the other side, because that's really what Jesus has in store for us. That we were never called to be left in the middle or in between or in the darkness, but instead, our God is an overcoming God. And so we are called to be overcoming people. Now, a lot of times when we get into a difficult situation, if we stay there long enough, it becomes a part of who we are. And we can say everything that we want to say, or we can say all the right things about how we want to overcome this difficulty. We want to overcome this habit. We want to overcome this lifestyle. But the fact is, sometimes it's become a part of who we are. And we're not interested in getting rid of it. We're interested in staying in it and remaining the victim instead of being the victor. And so I want to encourage you, first of all, if you feel like you've been stuck in something for a long time and you feel like maybe this is just who you are, God is calling you to come out of that. But a few things, first of all, we have to be honest with ourselves about the situation that we're in, about the lifestyle that we're perpetuating. I remember when I was a kid, my brother was 9 years older than me. Well, I guess he still is 9 years older than me. But he was 17 years old, I think, at the time, and I was 8, and we were sharing an upstairs room, this big upstairs room, and that, of course, my brother had basically taken over because, well, he was the oldest. It made sense. He had posters everywhere. He had Three Stooges posters, Star Wars posters, David Robinson posters, Albert Einstein poster, and there was one evening that my brother was out hanging out with his friends, and so I had some friends over, and we were having pillow fights upstairs and throwing stuff at each other and being 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds and goofing around. And it got to one point when we were playing on the stairs, and near the stairs there was this poster, the one of Albert Einstein. And one of my friends had thrown a pillow at me, and then I threw the pillow back at him, and then he threw it back at me, and then I threw it one more time, and it ripped this poster right in half. I threw this pillow over this cushion, and it ripped the poster right in half. Of course, my dad heard the commotion, yells at me from downstairs, which kind of makes my ears and eyes perk up a little bit. And he brings me down and he says, "Well, what happened up there?" And I said, "Nothing. We didn't do anything." And of course, he goes up the stairs and he sees the poster that's ripped in half that I think my buddy had started to try to tape back together before my dad got up there. And he sees the poster, and it's obvious to him what had happened. I mean, the evidence is everywhere. There's pillows, there's cushions, there's pieces of paper, there's ripped this and ripped that. And he says, "Look, you ripped your brother's poster. You ruined his property. You did something in a way that we told you not to do. We told you not to horse around your brother's stuff. Why did you do this?" And I didn't even get to the why. I was still insistent that I had not done this. I said, "Dad, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it." I denied, when all the evidence was stacked against me. And even just moments before, I was there. I saw myself. I did it. It was clear. But I insisted, and I even had made myself believe it. My dad disciplined me and then sent me off to my room, and I remember sitting in my room crying and weeping and all this stuff and telling myself that I didn't do it. I was saying it out loud. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I couldn't be honest with myself about the situation. All it took was that. It took a mistake, and it took a lot of denial, and all of a sudden it was ingrained in my mind that I had even gotten to the point where I kind of believed that I didn't do it, even though that's completely insane. Very often in our lives, because we are met with a difficult situation, we engage in that particular habit or lifestyle, and then we perpetuate that lifestyle and we continue to deny it. We will start to believe that something isn't wrong with us that really is. Or we'll believe that something is wrong with us when it really isn't. But we'll continue to perpetuate this lifestyle. So I wanna ask you a few really simple questions. First of all, can you be honest with yourself? When you look at whatever situation that that's holding you back or that you find difficult in your life, maybe it's anger, maybe it's rage, maybe it's poor relationships, maybe it's something like pornography. I remember when I was dealing with pornography in my own life, I could sell anything to myself as a good reason to continue to engage in the act, that I had earned this, that this was okay because I hadn't looked at pornography in weeks. It was so easy for me to sell something to myself because I couldn't be honest with myself. Until I was honest with myself about the problem that I had and how that I had to overcome it, I was never, of course, able to overcome it. So, can you be honest with yourself to the very core? Can you sit down? Can you say out loud, am I being honest with myself? Really? The next thing is, have you created a community of honesty around yourself? And I want to encourage you in something, and this is especially awesome for leaders. I believe a lot of you are leaders. You have to create a community around you that will be honest with you. You cannot simply gather together groups of friends that are going to say what you want, when you want it, all of the time. Those people don't have your best interests in mind. And at the same time, you can't gather people around you that you kind of want to be like or that you hold in high esteem, but run you down all the time. They don't have your best interests in mind either. For instance, in ministry, as we do the 120, I want to have leaders. I want to have worship team people. I want to have next steps team people. I want to have first impressions people, sound people. I want to have mentors and people in my life that will be honest with me about a message or a time of worship or about a service or about this or that. I want people to be honest with me. But I don't listen to everybody's honesty all the time. We have people come in, and this happens fairly regularly. We have people come in that have never been to the 120 before. Maybe they've been once or they've been twice or they just moved here, whatever. And they might even have good intentions, but they want to come up to me and they want to give me ideas about what sermon series or why this is good and why this is bad and why this is whatever. That's all well and good. I don't listen to any of that garbage anymore. I don't pay attention to it. I don't care. I don't take it into account, because these people aren't invested in what we're doing. They don't have a full grasp of the entire vision, and they're not necessarily, at least that I know of, they don't have my best interest or this ministry or this church's best interest in their heart or in their mind. So I want to gather people around me that won't BS me, that won't give me garbage answers, but I also want people that are invested in my vision and that ultimately their heart is for me, and that any input or any honesty that they give me or any accountability that they give me is going to be from their heart and what is best for me, because they really truly care about me. So, question number one, and I know that was a lot. Can you be honest with yourself? Go home, or even now in these discussions, ask yourself, can you be honest with yourself? And maybe during your discussion, if somebody says no, ask yourself why. Or if somebody says yes, ask yourself why. And talk about your stories that way. And then secondly, have you created a community of honesty around yourself? And how can you create that community if you haven't done so already? And what does that look like? Why is it important? I'm telling you guys, having the right community around you that's going to speak honesty into your life and have your best interests at heart is so, so vital and so important to living the life that God has called you to live. All right, love you guys. Thank you so much for letting me invade your living room and your small groups. We will see you after Thanksgiving next week. Love you. Have an incredible week.